I don't know nothing.
Because you guys have
Malachim, we're ready?
When is it?
Malachim Aleph, Perek Gimel with Rabbi Yehuda Miller, September 18th, 2025.
Okay, let's go. So, yesterday we did Perek Gimel, and we talked about the Chachma of Shlomo HaMelech. Right? Like we said, Shlomo HaMelech, Hashem came to him in a dream and said, Shlomo, I'll give you one, it's one thing. And what he asked for? He asked for Chachma. So he didn't ask for riches, he didn't ask for other things. So Hashem said, I'll give you everything. So Shlomo HaMelech got Chachma and he got other things as well. How do you know he got it? We said because when he woke up, suddenly he hears the birds and he knows what they're talking about. And then he hears a dog and he hears all the languages of the behemoths. Anyways, so Perek Dalet now, that was yesterday. So Perek Dalet now is talking now more when Shlomo HaMelech now is the Melech, right? And he's establishing the Malchus. It talks about different structures they had in the Malchus. And that's basically what the Perek is. It's a very quick Perek. My goal today is to finish the Perek in a couple of minutes and then talk about a very important story, which is the Gay being Beis Hamikdash, a story of Ashmedai. So, okay, so anyways, the passage starts like this. So first of all, Shlomo HaMelech, he ruled over Kol Yisrael. What does that mean? So Rashi explains that since everybody saw the Chachma of Shlomo, they saw how amazing he was, so therefore Samchu Kulam Malach, everyone was very happy about him being the Melech. And therefore, when you have a leader that people like, people follow him. And that's why Shlomo HaMelech ruled out Kol Yisrael. He wasn't split like David HaMelech was. David HaMelech had a split. But Shlomo was a Melech, a Kol Yisrael. Okay, that's Pasuk Gal. Zak Pasuk Beis. Eila Asar Mashallah. So who are the officers of Shlomo? So the first one is Azariah ben Tzadok HaKohen. Now who was he? So first of all, it says Ben. So the Rashi didn't bring down Ben. Unfortunately, it wasn't really, but it was really the grandson of Tzadok, and his son was Achimatz. Okay. Now we're going to go through. Now, Ali Chayref, Bachia, Ben Shisha, they were Seifrim. They were the people that the scribes. They wrote things down. Shafat ben Achilod Amaski. He was the secretary. It wasn't the secretary. So like we said, David HaMelech used to judge every day, right? So people they came in for they came in there, that they had a shiur, whatever it was. So they used to get him on schedule. He took care of that. Now, and he was we said was a general for Shlomo HaMelech. The Tzaddik Avyasar Kahanim, and Tzaddik and Avyasar with the Kahanim. Now, obviously, when it says Avyasar, it doesn't mean that Avyasar, the Kohen that was originally the Kohen, because we said clearly, literally in the Perek before, that Avyasar was kind of excommunicated. Shlomo HaMelech told him, "You go away, and you really chayv misa, but just for now leave." So it's just interesting that the new Kohen that came in had the same name. So Tzaddik and Avyasar were the Kahanim. Pasuk Hey, Azariah ben Nasan, Alta and Tzivim. Azariah ben Nasan were over the officers. Okay, V'Zavid ben Nasan HaKohen. He was Reyad Melech. He was a friend. He was David Melech. You mean?
No, it wasn't the same person. He agrees with what you said.
Yeah. So this is fine. Now, Pasuk Vav. Achisha be Alabai. Achisha he was the head of the so it means he's the head of maintenance. He was took care of the house. Validaram ben Avda Alamas. He was in charge of the mas. What does it mean, the mas? So it means taxes. But based on the second later, we know what that means. Right. So Shlomo HaMelech made something called the people's tax. But when he wanted to build the Beis Hamikdash, he needed 30,000. Well, he needed a lot more than 30,000 workers. But he had 30,000 workers that were involved in a certain part of the building, and the way we had the tax was a people's tax. So basically, we had 10,000 workers to go get the Arzei Levana, and we'll see it's not important right now. But basically, they had 30,000 workers, and they had 10,000 at a time. So they had 10,000, and then they went home for 2 months. So that's what it means on the mas. Yeah, it doesn't mean the money tax. Okay, Pasuk Zayin L'Shleima Shnei Masa Netzivim. He had 12 officers. I call Yisrael, and these 12 officers right, both students talk what that means. And they're as a melech as beisai chodesh b'shana you al echad l'chalka. What does that mean? So basically, David HaMelech had a big operation going on. He had a big palace, and he used to have dignitaries from around the world used to come to him. And it was expensive to run it, and it was also like they need someone that's going to take care of all the food. So he did was like this. Shlomo went to every region in Eretz Yisrael, and that's the next few psukim. He had different regions around Eretz Yisrael. I also put it yesterday on the group. We'll see from the psukim the regions. And he did was every region was responsible for 1 month. You're responsible to take care of Chaj El. Let's say Har Ephraim, and let's say the people from Bashan. And they took different areas, and they had 1 month responsibility that they had to go and take care of all the food for Shlomo HaMelech. No, it's not based on Shvat. It's based on the regions, and that's exactly what the pasuk is bring down. He made different areas, and we'll see. I'm gonna put it up. I put it up ready yesterday. I forgot to bring the iPad today, but basically, if you look, if anyone wants to see it, we'll go through the psukim now of the 12 locations, and pretty much that's the. That's the conclude the shiur. So let's go. So So the first was Ben Chor. He was a Har Ephraim. So anyone just grabs the Nach shiur chat. I just want to get the. Okay, here we go.
On the chat,
okay, so the first number 1 is Har Ephraim. Okay, now Ben Deker, Ben Makatz, Beshavlim, Beit Shemesh, Ve'elon, Beis Chana. So the first one is Har Ephraim, it's over here. So Yerushalayim is over here. So 1 is going to be Har Ephraim. Okay. Second one is going to be area number 2. Okay. This is the second. That was area number 2 was Ben Deker. Area number 3 is Ben Chesed by Rubais. The area called Rubais. The Loi Seicha, it included Seicha. The Chol Efer Chefer, and also the entire land of Chefer. That's number 3. So that's Chefer is number 3. So over here, so that's so far. I have 1, 2. We have number 3. That's the area of Chefer. Now, pasuk Aleph, Ben Avinodov, Kol Nafatz Dayer. That's an area. Tafas Bas Shlomo was the daughter of Shlomo. Haishal Yisha. So that means the son-in-law Shlomo had area number 4. So his name was Ben Avinodov. So that's number 4. It's over here. It's literally near. That's in Lebanon today. So actually, it's not Lebanon. The door is over here. It's near Haifa. Okay. Pasuk Yud Beis. Ba'ana ben Achilod. Tanach. So he had the area of Tanach. Umegidai. B'chol Beishan. Asher Eitzel Sarsana. B'tachas LaIsrael. Beishan ad Avel Mechayla. Ad Me'ever Hayakman. So that's area number, what is it, 5 up to? Beit Shan is over here, right? So Beit Shan, we know the story from David Malach, from Har Gabaya, from Shaul, right? And we know that they took the body of Shaul and they hung it up in Beit Shan. So that's right by the Jordan Valley, because they brought the body, but you ordered the Yomi Megillah, which is right over here. So Beit Shan is somewhere over here, actually over here. Anyways, yes. Now up to that's number 5, number 6 now. Ben Gever Ramat Megillah. So Ben Gever had the area around Megillah. And Loi, to him, he was responsible for Chavetz Yair, Ben Menashe, the villages of Chavetz Yair, Ben Menashe, Sheb Gilad, Loi Chevel, Ba'argoi, Vasheb Babashan, Shishim Arayim Gedolos, Chayma, Uvriach, and Chayshas, and 60 great cities, and the walls, Chayma, Uvriach, and Chayshas. That's number 6. So basically, that's the area of Ever Yarden, and it's the area of Yavish Megillah. Okay? That's number 6. Number 7, Achinodov ben Idai. It's Machanayim. Okay, so with Machanayim we know because that's where the area David HaMelech ran away. Right, he ran away from Absalom. Where did he end up? Machanayim. So that's area number 7 right here. So then he's going down here. The idea was that these were places where there was big populations. So he didn't want to put the tax on a shevet because let's say. Search for them much bigger. So why should they be responsible? So he took big regions and he divided that strong to 12 regions. Exactly. Based on population. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, right? Yeah. District. See, a politician talks a different language. A district. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So time of Shlomo HaMelech, these were the districts that made sense to divide Klal Yisrael to be responsible for the food of the Beis Hamikdash. For his palace. Now, Ba'ana Bechushi, Ba'asher Ba'alais. So Ba'ana Bechushi, he was responsible for the area of Asher and Ba'alais. Sorry, Achimas ben Naphtali. Okay, let's go back. Achimas is Naphtali. Everybody knows Naphtali because we know Kaddish ben Naphtali. So that's in the north of Eretz Yisrael, right? It's straight up from Shechem. So let's go straight up from Shechem. Yeah, because we know the Ari Miklatz where Shalayim, Chevron, and then we know the straight up is Kadesh, and that's Naphtali. And that's right over, that should be right over here, right? Right. There's also that's the Chatzar from, we had that in Shmuel as well. Okay. That's number 8. Number 9 is Bana Mechushi Ba'asha Ba'alois. That's the area of Alois. Now Yizai and Yishayfa ben Porach the Yisachar. That's the area of Yisachar. And Shimi ben Elah ben Biyamin. They had the area of Biyamin, which is down near Yerushalayim. You all know that. Now, so now I think we just got 11 or 12. How are we up to so far?
That's number 9.
Number 9? No, it's not number 9. Number 9, we're past number 9. Okay. And Gev ben Uri, again, 1 second. So now up to Gev ben Uri be'eretz Gilad. Eretz Sichain, Melech HaMayri, Oy Machabasham. This should be Mem 12. That should be over here. Right. Basically, these are the 12 regions where Shlomo HaMelech, he gave each one 1 month responsibility, and the responsibility was to take the responsibility for the food, and also we'll see it's not just the food; it's also for the animals, for the horses. You also all the responsibilities. Now, yeah, basically Shlomo HaMelech was a Melech Klal Yisrael. Also, was a Melech Kol Olam essentially. So people around the world used to come to Shlomo. They used to bring in presents and used to bring in things. But again, when they come in, they want to have food. They want to have all types of. So who's taking care of that? It's not responsibility for one person. It's responsibility for Klal Yisrael. So how do you have Klal Yisrael take care of this? You make different regions of people that are responsible. Like this region took care of this. It's almost like adopt a kollel. Everyone takes care of. Each has their own kollel here. Yeah. Okay. Now, one more. Now, where we're up to. With Nasiv Echad Asher Ba'aretz, and there was one officer who took care of Aretz. So what does that mean? One officer took care of the Aretz. So either means either means that one guy took responsible to make sure the manager of all of them, or we'll see in a second because it's in a second. Yehuda no. So the second shot was okay. No, let's just go with that. Okay. Now Yehuda Yisrael Rabim Kechol Asher Yom the Roiv Eichem Shais Mesmechem. This time it was a time that Klal Yisrael was many, like the sand. No, it was a time of Klal Yisrael was expanding, and everyone was what? Because it was times of peace. In times of Shlomo HaMelech, there was great peace in the world, and that's the end. That's the end of Perek. That end of the Perek. Now I just want to quickly today. We have a few more minutes. If you could do the Gemara and Gittin, okay, just really quickly. So we're going to talk the next Perek to about Big Beis Hamikdash. So I want to just go over quickly the story of the story of Ashmedai and the story with the Shamir, because it's a very important. I think it's extremely important, and it's not quoted at all in Malachim, but really it's essential to understand the story. So first of all, the Beis Hamikdash, we know the stones of Beis Hamikdash, you were not allowed to put barzel on it. Okay, again, it's a machlokes what that means. It could be you couldn't chisel out of the mountain with barzel. That's one shot, or means you can't, or maybe it means you can't be in the Beis Hamikdash yourself. You can't, but you could. It's a lot of understanding of it. But let's just go with the pashup shot that you needed it in order to excavate the stone. Okay, so they try to figure out. So it happens like this. They're trying to figure out how did they go get it out of the mountain. So they asked around, and they said that there's a certain worm. It's called the Shamir, and this worm is the worm that Moshe Rabbeinu used to get for the ephod, to get for the stones to get it out. So they try to figure out where they got these stones from. I'm going to paraphrase quickly the Gemara because it's a whole Bak Gemara, just to give you an understanding of the story of the Shamir. Anyway, what happens? So they brought the two shadim. The Gemara says like this: they brought the male and the female shade, and they brought them to Shlomo HaMelech, and they said, "How can we get the Shamir?" So they put a lot of pressure. The Gemara says, and they said, "We don't know." They said, "You know what you can do? You can ask the head of the Shindalids. You can ask Ashmedai." They're like, "How do you find Ashmedai? He's the main person." So what do? They said like this. They said he hides out. He hides out on a faraway mountain, and he learns. He lives. He's the head, right? So he hides by the mountains. In the morning, he goes up to the Rakia. He learns in Shemayim, and then later in the day, he goes down he learns Mesefta Da'ara. And then what he does is, Ashmedai has in the mountains, hidden somewhere, he has this big pit, and inside he has water, and he goes to drink. But he puts a rock over it, and he has a seal with a signet stamp on it to make sure no one touches water. So to get him is to be really rough. This is his schedule. You have to kind of figure out how to do it. So what did he do? Shlomo HaMelech sent Yomi, and he sent him out to the mountains to get Ashmedai. He's the one who knows the secret to know where the Shamir worm is. What does he do? He goes, he brings along a jug of wine, the Gemara says. He brought along some wool, and he goes out. What does he do? He sees Ashmedai, finally he sees where he is. He sees him going up to Shemayim. So Ashmedai is going up to Shemayim, and quickly, as soon as he leaves, he does is, he takes the pit of, he takes the water, and there's a pit with a stamp on it. So he does is, he takes makes a hole in the pit of water, and he drains the well where Ashmedai drinks from. And then he does is, he stuffs it up. He makes a hole higher up. He puts wine inside of it. And the idea was that Ashmedai should not realize that anything happened, and he should go inside and drink from it. And the goal was to try to catch him that way. Maybe he'll fall asleep, whatever. So anyways, Ashmedai comes down from Shemayim. He goes, he learns with Mesefta Da'ara, and he comes in, he's getting ready to drink. He opens up, he checks the seal, it's sealed. And then he opens up, he smells wine. He says, "Oh, I can't drink from it because Shlomo HaMelech says that if you drink wine, it's a bad thing." He goes to the tzedakah over there. It's nice yayim, and he says, "I can't drink." But then he's thinking, I'm really thirsty. What should I do? I see he ends up drinking, and Ashmedai, I forgot to mention, but okay, well, anyways. So he drinks from it and he falls asleep. Then the Yomi, he takes, as I forgot to mention, he had these chains he brought it as well. And the chains had Hashem's name engraved on it. Also, it had a lock with Hashem's name on it. And he did was he takes a chain with a lock. And he takes it and the chain, and he puts it around Ashmedai, even around his neck, and he locks it with Shem Hashem. So now Ashmedai wakes up. Ashmedai wakes up from all the wine, and he wants to break out of it. But the other said you can't. It has Hashem's name on it. You can't. Anyways, so Ashmedai is really upset, and they start schlepping to Yerushalayim in chains. And on the way, I'm not going to go through all of it. But the Gemara talks about a lot of things that he did. He did a lot of funny things. First, he passes by a tree, knocks the tree down. He knocks the house over, and then he sees Almana. She's like, "Please save my house." And there's a chmaritz on her. And then he sees a chasana. He sees a chassan, and he starts crying. And then he sees a poor man, and he sees all types. He sees a guy who a fortune teller, and he's laughing at him. Different things he does, and the Gemara explains what each thing he did. But we're going to go through. I think I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit, and to the point of the story. And his finally gets to Yerushalayim, and he brings it to Shlomo HaMelech. He waits a few days because he was shikker. The Gemara goes, it's a whole block of Gemara. But the idea was he brings it to Shlomo HaMelech finally, and he says, "No, I want to know where's the Shamir. Tell me." So Ashmedai says, "I can't tell you, because I entrusted it to the Melech Shebayam. The Melech Shebayam, he has the Shamir, and not only that, he can't give it away. He's not telling anyone where it is." Okay, and he says that the Melech Shebayam, he has by the rooster. He himself gave it to the rooster, a special rooster who's on top of the mountains, and he uses Shamir to break the mountains, to rip it open to be able to plant. So he figures how we're going to do it. So he does is he sends a crew out to the mountains, and they find the rooster. And he does is he sees a nest, and in the nest he sees it was empty. So he does is he puts a glass on top of the nest, and he waits. He's hiding out in the trees. He's watching. Right. The mother wasn't there, but the kids were in the nest, and the mothers don't want to try to get to the child. So they put a glass on top of the nest, and finally the rooster finally shows up. And she sees, she tries to get to her children. She can't get in because it's glass. So she turns back around. She brings this little worm, the Shamir, and he goes over to the thing, to the glass, and she just opens up and like no big deal. And second, they did that. They quickly startled the rooster, and she drops the Shamir, and they quickly take the Shamir from her. And what happens is, as soon as they take the Shamir from her, the rooster promised the Mach Shabiyam that she's gonna keep a very good eye on it. So she quickly, the Gemara says she strangles herself to death, because she went against a promise. From that point on, they got the shamir for being Beis Hamikdash. And the shamir, the way it works was you put it onto the stone and it just cut it, and therefore you could build a Beis Hamikdash. So that was a very important worm to get in order to build a Beis Hamikdash. So now, I mean, there's more to the story if you want to look it up, because it's more in Gittin, Daf Samach, Chesam, Nalfa, and Beis. But that's this idea. In order to build a Beis Hamikdash, they had to figure out how to excavate the stones. So that's Hashem. In the next few days, we're gonna build the Beis Hamikdash, the Her V'Imenu, and we're gonna get to Shamir, and now we know how to do it. All the best.